Hello, welcome to Brazen Exchange. I'm your host, Vanessa Emadi. Happy International Women's Day. I can't tell you how excited I am to celebrate this special day because while so many things are happening around the world, we get to use this day. And not just this day, in the US, they celebrate Women's History Month the entire month of March. So to get to use this month, this day, to highlight the achievements of women, all the things they've been doing over the years, this is a time to say, oh, back in 1990 something, this woman did this. This woman is the reason why we are able to drink water today. This woman is the reason why this and this and this is happening in Nigeria. While women contribute majorly to Nigeria's economy, their contributions are not recognized like that. Their contributions are not so much valued as those of men. We want to use this opportunity, especially the theme for this year's International Women's Day, Accelerate Action. We want to use this opportunity to call for the recognition of women's voices, to call for the involvement of more women in places of power, in politics, in different sectors, not just because they are women, but because they have things to contribute. They actually put in efforts in every single thing because they've had to prove themselves time and time and time again. You've heard stories of somebody, or rather a man, doing something, but then when it comes to a woman, she has to prove herself 10 times more. That's the case of women. So you know that if you see a woman in a place of power, she's actually definitely qualified, overqualified even, to be in that room, in that space. So I celebrate women all over the world, and I am happy to be a woman. And I am grateful for the opportunity to be here in this space again to talk about women and our contribution to society, and hopefully get more people to recognize and give room, create opportunities for women in all areas of the world. Now, while we celebrate this, one of our own is going through a lot at the moment. Senator Natasha Akpoti. She is being judged harshly by the Senate. She is a current senator of Kogi Central. And at the moment, she is facing suspension from the Senate because of a fiasco between her and the Senate president, Senator Akpabio. It is so unfair, especially now when there is a lack of women in politics. There is serious underrepresentation of women in politics in Nigeria. And it's so hard, really, to get into these spaces as women. And now somebody is there, and instead of instead of there being fairness in judgment, fairness in handling cases like hers, there is instead a very severe action taken against her. I watched a clip of women publicly rallying against Natasha and standing in support for the Senate president. A woman was interviewed and was asked this question: what are you doing here? What are you here for? And she couldn't say what she was there for. She said she didn't know what was happening. She wasn't sure what transpired between the Senate president and Natasha. She's just there because they told her to come out, and she's out there in protest. She wasn't even protest. She just sat down, was chewing, whether it was granules, I don't know what she was chewing. So nonchalant, so carefree, while publicly nailing a woman on the cross because of a case that should be investigated. Instead, she is judged harshly. Instead of women to rally support for her, some women are coming out to do the opposite. Someone said on Twitter that if people are given money to come out to protest against themselves, to protest against what is good for them, they will do so. And they will, because we've seen that happen, especially with the data tariff that was recently increased. Somebody came out on Twitter, a couple of influencers came out on Twitter and was saying how a particular brand had increased their own data prices, and it is unfair that the ones in Nigeria are unable to increase their data prices. Yes, you heard that right. And then one of them deleted the post and came back to say, "Oh, I didn't mean it this way. I didn't mean." Anyways, long story short, data price went up. Every like the telcos, MTN and the rest, they increased their data price. Somebody paid these people to do these things. They came out to say that data price should go up, and it did go up. So I digress, but it's crazy. It's crazy being a Nigerian in this climate. And in the case of Natasha, we have to come together in support for her. In the Senate, out of 109 seats, four seats are allocated to women, with Natasha being one of them. And hearing now that she's being suspended, also her aid, their benefits are also going to be cut off as well. It doesn't speak well for the future of Nigerian women's participation in politics. Also, in the House of Representatives, out of 360 seats, 17 seats are allocated to women. I mean, out of 360 people in the House of Rep, just 17 are women, showing you the stark reality of women's involvement in politics and just how underrepresented we are. I'd like to read you a quote from This Day Live under the topic of women and power dynamics in NAS, that is the National Assembly. Now, the quote says, "Women's lack of adequate participation in legislative processes has negatively impacted promotion and enforcement of their rights. And despite the low representation of women in the National Assembly, the bills sponsored by female legislators have had significant impact on the lives of all Nigerians on the lives of all Nigerians. And now I'll just like to take you through some of the things that Natasha has been able to do in her constituency. The senator commissioned a 1 kilometer road network at Abdulaziz Memorial College in Okene, which included the reconstruction of 9 classroom blocks and 4 boarding houses. She facilitated the distribution of 5,000 digital learning devices to students, enhancing educational infrastructure. In regards to water and healthcare initiatives, she oversaw the installation of a solar powered water system serving 300 locations with 1,800 taps. In healthcare, primary health centers in 2 locations, they're set for rehabilitation, and then their medical outreach programs that have been scheduled for other locations as well. When it comes to security enhancement, she has collaborated with the Kogi State Police Command to reconstruct a certain police station. And she has also facilitated the installation of 30 kilometers of street lights across Kogi Central to improve visibility and safety. And she has done so much more. Also, through the Natasha Foundation, 353 students received scholarships and 1,300 artisans were trained in various trades, including renewable energy and catering, each of them receiving grants. So you can see the things that she has been able to achieve in her constituency alone. Honestly, if you go through the records of every one of the senators, you would find out that many of them haven't done half of what Natasha has done in the few years that she has been a senator. And now she's been suspended because of a dispute with the Senate president. And it is so absurd that somebody is calling for a mental stability test for women going forward in politics because of the case of Natasha and the Senate president. Can you imagine that? That is so unfair, and it shows an utter disregard for women in general. Now, who knows their plan for once the 6 months suspension is over? But we hope that it does not get to that point. We hope that something is done to rectify that and Natasha is reinstated back to where she belongs, right at the Senate. The crux of everything is there is already low participation of women in politics in Nigeria. And instead of us to call for more women's involvement in politics, we are trying to shut the door. What people don't understand is that like I mentioned before, women already struggle to get in these positions. For you to see them there, they are overly qualified. And once a door is shut on women, that door is shut on not just that woman, but on every other woman. So if we don't do something about this case of Natasha's, it is going to affect every other woman going forward. So if you think that it does not concern you, it does concern you, and this is the time to speak up about it and be vocal in your support for Natasha. If we say we want to accelerate action for women, then let us use Natasha's case as an example to make a statement, to let the world know that we are fully committed to amplifying women's voices all around the world, the things they have to say, the struggles that they're going through, how we can make things better for them, how we can better support them and involve them in various sectors. Because if we do not set an example now, what world would we be creating for little girls in Nigeria? We need to think about that and make the right call. I think back on the women in my life, the women who shaped me in some form, and while I can't name them all, I am grateful. I am grateful for Elle, who showed me that being bold and vivacious is not something to be hidden, it's not something to be ashamed of, but rather to be embraced because she is one bold, one vivacious woman, and I am thankful every single day for her presence in my life. Omolademi, my best friend, thank you for showing me the beauty in girlhood, the beauty in friendships. We dreamt so many dreams together. We made so many plans together. We were quite similar. We had this love for Grey's Anatomy, and she would say, "You're my Christina," and I would say, "You're my Meredith. You're my person." So anybody who's watched Grey's Anatomy will get that you're my person, Meredith and Christina. But yeah, she was Meredith and I was Christina. And while we had different paths, we were drawn to each other. Right from when we were young, we just always thought alike. She can think of something and I'll be like, oh my God, that was the same exact thought that I had. And I can think of something and she'll be like, wow, mine's going in the same direction. If she were alive today, I know that she would burn brightly and achieve everything that she set out to do because she was just like that. There was nothing that couldn't be achieved with Laddie. If Laddie says, this is what I want to do, or this is a project that I want to undertake, trust me, Ladi is going to achieve that. And I am so thankful that I had her in my life. And then there is Jay. I have never seen somebody so calm in the face of adversity, in the face of goodness. And she showed me the power in maintaining calmness. Something can be happening right now, and Jay will just be like, she's not moved. She will just, you'll be wondering, am I the only person seeing what I'm seeing? Nah, patience, calmness, everything. Thank you, baby girl. In university, she was my voice of reason. I can pick up my phone and just call Jay. I'm not calling to hear advice or anything. I just want to rant. And after Jay says everything, Jay will just start in a super calm voice and she'll start. So it's as she's speaking, it's like you're pouring water. It's like she's pouring water on my head. Pour water in my spirit and it's just okay, Melu. Okay, no problem. Breathe in, breathe out. You'll be fine. So if she hears of something that I'll do and she'll now say, oh, you've got to do one of those, Jay, God bless you. Thank you so much. The funny thing, I don't know if it's funny or if it's amazing or if it's ironic. We are totally different. It's like fire and ice. We are totally different. And I always say, God, I don't know how you brought me and this girl together because we are not in any way alike. What I like is not what she likes. I am this person, she's that person. But somehow but anyway, I always say God orchestrated our relationship because like, we are nothing alike. We are nothing alike, but our love for each other is so big and I'm thankful for God every single day. I love you, Jay. Paddy me. Prudence. God bless you, Prudence. if there's somebody who is actively looking to improve herself, actively looking for skills, actively looking to just, if you say prudence, when you apply for this thing, if you study this thing, it's going to take it to the next level. Prudence is going to jump on that course, apply for it, participate in it, come out in flying colors, and she's on to the next one. She's always on the move to learn. I can open my phone now and share how many messages I get from Prudence just saying, "Oh, Vanessa, have you checked out this opportunity? Vanessa, there's this opportunity. Vanessa." Many of the events that I've gotten through Prudence, honestly, Prudence would either recommend me or Prudence would, they will send it to me and say, "Oh, Vanessa, have you seen this? Check it out." Oh, baby girl, baby girl. Honestly, we need women, like women supporting women. We just need one another because I really don't know. I really don't know how my life would have been without these women helping me, guiding me. And it's not a one-off thing, it's a continuous thing. So we are constantly pouring into each other. You're giving to me, I'm giving to you. We are healing each other, we are blessing each other. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And Prudence, thank you for sharing your drive with me because just constantly seeing the things that you do or hearing from you and the chances that you're taking, the opportunities that you're creating for yourself, the things that you are planning for yourself, or even the gigs you are trying to line up for yourself, it just pushed me to I have to do more. I have to do I had to push myself. I think in the previous episode, I was saying how my God, my lighting was bad, and Prudence is she's definitely going to call it out. Thank you for all your reviews, your feedback. I am so grateful. I love you, Prudence. God bless you. And then there is Uruno, my love, Abba storyteller. You know what? I would say the girl who wouldn't take no for an answer. That is Uruno. Always looking to improve herself. If she knows that you have something that she needs, if you are good in a particular area and she's bad in that area, it's like she's going to meet you constantly. Please, please teach me this thing, or please guide me on this thing. She was just somebody who knew that okay, I can't do this on my own. I need you. I need your resource to help me get to where I need to go to. She's going to hang on to you until she gets everything that she needs. She was somebody who could approach anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, your status, your no. She's seeing you, she's speaking to you. She's seeing you, she's saying what she wants to say. She talked a big game. And when I mean she talked a big game, she had big, big visions for herself. And I said about storyteller, real about storyteller, because she could tell stories for days. She could come up with something on the whim, and you'll be wondering, is this real? Is this true? And you can't even say her mind is so beautiful, so unique, so complex. Aside from coming up with stories, she actually wrote stories as well. Like sometimes when she was sharing these stories with me, I could picture her directing TV series because that was what she loved. She could tell you Luna and this person together, and all of a sudden somebody came into the picture, and then later on she's going to find a way to bring see amazing, amazing, amazing individual. She had this grand view of herself. Like you couldn't tell her anything. You couldn't tell her that, oh no, you are this, you nah, like you can't even you can't even she just it would even push you to like you can't be with Bruno and not be yourself highly as well. No, she has big dreams. You must also have big dreams. I miss you, baby girl. She's no more with us. And see, I've met people, I've lost people, but I'm grateful for every single one of them because they've touched my life in some ways. And my hope, my prayer is to keep not just keep them alive, but those things that we talked about, at least say, you know what, years from now, baby girl, that thing that we talked about, I'm living that dream now. I have done that thing that we set out to accomplish. that is the plan. That is the goal. So in a way, their vision, their life is still burning within me, within the people that they love. And I hope that we do them proud. Pimo, super graceful. I met her in university, and that was one of the most graceful people I'd ever met in my life. She had this serenity about her. She just gave up this, as long as I have God with me, why must I struggle? Why must I try to be like anybody else? So graceful, so it's like otherworldly. Like the things that are concerning people in this world, it does not concern me. I have my father and I'm content. That was it. She was she just always content, and it showed in her actions, in the way she moved, in the way she interacted with people. There was no force. There was this like a shield that was covering her, protecting her from all the craziness of this world. It's almost like it wasn't touching her at all. She can see it, but okay, I think brings me back to Psalm 91, where it says something will be happening in the front, I'll be at the back. Something's happening at the back, I'll be in front. Something's happening at the left, I'll be at the right. Like I will see it, but it won't touch me. Yeah, my eyes will see the reward of the wicked, right? So something like that. Like basically that was just it. She just had this shield protecting her from the rest of the world. And I remember the first time I cut my hair in university and I came to church. She looks at me, she said, Vanessa, only you can pull off this look. How do you do it? Like how are you able to pull off, like you look good in everything? And I took that compliment to her, like, yes, thank you, people. I really appreciate that. Thank you so Thank you so much, people. You inspire me. You inspire me. When I think of grace, when I think of serenity, I think of you. God bless you wherever you are. I love you, Kimo. Finally, to my mother who marched to my school after hearing that I changed my department from science to arts. She came to the school, and when I was called to the principal's office, I didn't know what I was coming there for. You know, when you're heading to principal's office and you're, wait, I hope I didn't do anything wrong. This one, they're calling me to principal's office, only for me to get there and I saw her in all her glory. And my principal didn't even know how to speak. She just took charge of the entire conversation. I was just, why am I just hearing that my daughter was moved from this department to this department? Who There was not even room for me to say this is why. No, long story short, they took me back to my original department, and that changed the trajectory of my life. 90% of the things that I do today are based off of my relationship with my mother, who she was. She was authority and power. Growing up, her word was the law. If my mom says A is A. And I think just being a woman in power, there was no time for sentiment. There was no, it was just, okay, this is what is right. That's what you're going to do. There's no second choice. No, she didn't have time for any of that. It was just, this is it, this is it, this is it. Anyways, today, her and her friends are still running circles around people, and I can only aspire, right? She showed me that there's a way the world sees powerful women and then the truth of it. And you just get to decide who you want to be and not seek validation from the world. Like the world will have its own view of who you are. You just be who you're going to be, and everybody will be fine. I'm fine. Anyways, I'm thankful for my mother. I've learned a lot from her. I've learned a lot from her friends. And like I said, I can only aspire. Happy International Women's Day once again. Let's put more effort into celebrating, recognizing, and empowering women in all sectors around the world. And maybe, just maybe, that bright vision that we envision for ourselves will become a reality. Till next time on Brazen Exchange, I'm your host, Vanessa Imadi. Goodbye.